Good Saturday morning, Looney Tunes fans. It is I, Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic. It's Saturday. It's the first Saturday of the month. So we're watching cartoons, and that means we're watching cartoons first of the month with friends. And I'm joined by my good friend, Matt Hunter of Golden Age Cartoons. And Matt, you picked this cartoon, and we were talking on Facebook about this, how... At least I was saying to you, I was like, I could have swore I saw this cartoon in much better condition. But this is the best version available at the moment. This crap.
Yeah.
This is from Boomerang. This is Boomerang's copy. And I think between the two of us, in like 15 to 20 minutes of just talking about it, we could not figure out where. But there's got to be another. This has to exist in better conditions somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe I'm...
Well, it did back in the early 90s when I saw it on Nickelodeon. That's kind of why I love this cartoon so much. It looked better then, I thought.
Yeah.
And that could have been just because it was, watching it on an old school tube TV, and now that we've got HD everything, flaws are seen. But yeah. But that's pure Chuck right there, and kind of a foreshadowing to the Grinch, where the Grinch does that little expression of, like the wonderful, awful idea, and he gets like the fur curls up like little devil horns.
Yeah, Chuck's on his way to MGM at this point. It's he's got about like another year and a half.
Yeah, this came out in 1961, and he was gone by like late '62, and the reason for that was he was working on Gay Paris at UPA, and he thought he was just kind of moonlighting and that they wouldn't catch him. But the irony was that Warner Brothers distributed that movie, and they saw his name on it, and they saw his drawing style all over it, and they were like, "Oh, yeah." So he got fired from them, and it didn't really matter because he was already getting offers from MGM because they were starting up Tom and Jerry after Hanna-Barbera went off on their own for TV. So, he had pretty much an instant job waiting for him, and he took it. So, but
now I think now that I'm looking at it again and hearing what you say, I think it is Nickelodeon where I saw this cartoon a lot. And the thing that I remember most, rather than not just the clarity of the image, but I remember the color being a lot better.
It was. I'm sure of it, yeah.
What is going on, Warner Brothers? Jesus. I mean, did I tell you about that when last Christmas I had to Pez arranged he didn't arrange it. A friend of his arranged a film festival in Santa Monica for Christmas of Looney Tunes shorts that were Christmas related, and there's like 5, so we had to really think about it, and he was approved by Warner Brothers to run the thing, and he even got a lot of the shorts from Warner Brothers, but one that they didn't have was Freeze. Was Freeze Frame. Remember from the Bugs Bunny? Oh
yeah, from the Christmas show.
And I couldn't believe it, dude. They had to rely on me, not Warner Brothers, to get them a decent copy of Freeze Frame.
Huh.
They had to. I mean, it's like, and it was good for me because I was able to they let me promote Looney Tunes Critic and stuff. But it was early on in me realizing just I don't want to trash Warner Brothers because so many people do.
Yeah.
But they really
like these airplanes are about to do to the Coyote here.
Exactly.
And this is funny because it's first of all, we were talking on the last one about how Chuck really wasn't often his own gag man. That was probably the best thing, but he actually wrote this one, and it's funny because it doesn't really necessarily break his infamous rules that we've talked about, but it's a different structure toward the end. We've got this rapid fire string of gags, but it's all based on this one. It's a running gag where these little airplane firecrackers come back and haunt him at every turn. And for some reason, when I was a kid, and I still think it's funny, it makes me laugh. It's just funny. Because here he's got this hammer. You know exactly what he's trying to do, but he doesn't ever get the chance. And then there's the topper. Pong.
Yep. There was a great line in Chuck's book about how the Coyote, I love saying it because it's well written, which is unusual for him in that time frame of his life. But he had a great line about how, you release frustrations as an artist, and he's like, I don't need to go far to figure out what the coyote's going to do or how he's going to fail, but it is always much easier for me to let the coyote run across the desert and get, have all sorts of disasters happen than it is for me to fall off a ladder carrying a bucket of yellow paint. I have never fallen off a ladder carrying anything but yellow paint.
Yeah.
And some, and it's like, as a rule, there's no rule in his thing about continued gags, run-on gags, but you can tell that some people thought that was part of the formula, because when Rudy Lariva directed The Solid Tin Coyote, that's an example. That's an example of it not working. The run-on gag not working. It's like, there were better gags in that cartoon that you could have stuck with.
Yeah, like that bit where the Roadrunner sees the robot and he's terrified.
Right. One of the only times.
Yeah. But here, this is kind of a fun thing, because in the end, it's actually kind of a happy ending, or at least a stalemate for the coyote, which is kind of unusual. And it's, he laughs and you laugh with him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not as good as it could be, but it is good. All right, guys. We will see you next week.